they cannot say that they are not feeling well. They have to say they are okay. Then they'll start to explain to you what is wrong with them, what they're going through. So if you go in front of the house, you see other people sitting there in line, you just say, you know, good morning, Yabulika, and then go and sit down. If you make a mistake and ask somebody, how are you? And they say they're okay, or you say you're okay, you got to go back home. Because if you are well, what are you doing in a soothsayer's house? So that the process of invoking, when these people line up, then they get to their tent, and they go into a room. The name of the room is Zong. That's a spiritual room where soothsaying is conducted. You see that it is in the shape of a pyramid, even though it's touched with grass. But the rest of the rooms in the house are different from Zong, the spiritual room. And you enter, the first thing you do an offering. If you got $1, you got a basket of granules, or you got a bag of rice, you offer to the Spirit. And you say, Me'ele Kima, I've come to hear the word of the dead. That's how it goes. Now, that's when the Abba will start to call all the spirits to come and talk and help this guy who's here, you know, seeking the word of the dead. Finally, it will come to the process of this Kua. After he has summoned everything, you didn't have to ask again, is this process going to work? I have to throw this and see whether we will be able to prophesy or not. And I will throw it on the ground. Right now, I just thrown. It means laughter. Both the black part is showing up. It means that this show is good. This show is good. Spirits are happy that, you know, I'm giving this lecture. I'm also happy about that. And then the person will be handed the magic stick. You know, the Abba, the mediator, first of all, before he does that, he hit this. And then give it to the person seeking the information. And he will start by saying, Abba, 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 Me'ele Kima. In other words, he's calling the human being, you know, the Bokolgdana, the mediator, is called Abba, 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 Abba. I'm seeking the word of the dead. And that's how the process goes. Now, this, as I indicated earlier, is very crucial to the survival of African traditionalism. Because as we are in this technological world, we have satellites. And we can see weather conditions and other things. In a village setting, how are you going to have a satellite? The Bokolko is the village's satellite. As a child growing up, one day, we got instructions not to go down the stream. And it was a dry season. We normally go to the stream, take care of tobacco and some other vegetables that we grow on the banks of the stream. But during the dry season, water is scarce. So we used to use the water that is available in the stream to do all this, our gardening and other stuff, while watching our tobacco. One day we were instructed not to go down the river, no down the stream. And parents were like hawks, made sure that nobody went down the river. Around midday, we heard a sound unlike any other sound. Water was coming from Burkina Faso and Mali, called Mopti, all the way to our place. And when the water came, it was a flood. The tobacco that was on the banks of the stream all destroyed. Goats and sheep all disappeared. Well, anything that was on the banks except donkeys and horses and then cows, but smaller creatures were all gone. Not a single child died. That is the villagers' satellite. They were able to see over 500 miles away that water was coming. And they told us not to go down the stream. Now, another thing I can tell you is this. This particular deity, the Bokoloko, you know, in this technological world, you can win, one's wife is pregnant, we can go to the doctor and they do a sonogram and find out, oh, you're going to have a boy. And feel happy. And you go home. In a village setting, sometimes before that, before you even get married, they can predict when you're going to get married and what your first child is going to be. That is a sonogram beyond a sonogram. You're talking about a person who's not married. A bachelor goes to a soothsayer. Maybe he goes there with his father. And his father gets to the stick. The stick goes to touch the boy, and they start talking about the boy or the young man. You're going to get married, and when you get married, your child is going to be a boy, or a child is going to be a girl. And when the child grows up, he's going to be an international person. A lot of people whole world are going to know about him. Now, there are the ranges of the Abba. Some of the Abbas will wear a hat just like me. But some of the Abbas goes from, low rank to a higher rank. When the Abba gets to be the higher rank, this is what he wears. It's called Munga. Munga is a crown of the northern people of Ghana, Burkina Faso, and sometimes beyond. I haven't traveled all the rest of Africa, so I can't actually speak on that, but I know my people are in Burkina Faso. I know the Moshi people, and they all wear the same thing. A king wears the same king. So when the Abba begins to wear this, they call him Barnaba. Ba. The Bare. The Ba. Barnaba. He's no more called Abba. Even though when you go to sit down across him, you still can call him Abba. This is the process that people in the village have been practicing for a long time. And it's still there. Now, in every system, there are always weaknesses and then fault lines. In Africa, too, or in this process of divining the Bokoloko, there are some Bokolokos that don't see, but they pretend that they see. And they cheat people. There are some Bokolokos that are lazy. So when you go, instead of them to look deep into your situation, they don't look deep into your situation. And they tell you anything. You go home, you perform a sacrifice, and it doesn't work. And people think that traditionalism is wrong. The Bokolokos that are powerful don't want to be disgraced. And because they don't want to be disgraced, if you come to the place, if you come to the house, they'll have to tell you like it is. I remember one time, I went home and I went to a soothsayer, to a Bokoloko. But because I'm not home, when I get home, the person that my family has appointed to be the head of the household is my nephew. So I gave him some money so that we go to seek a voice from the dead. The money I gave my nephew cut the money into half, put some in his pocket. When we went, he gave the half to the Bokoloko. So in that process, when the Abba decided to throw this on the ground so they see whether they don't know the prophecy can go on or not, when he threw, the thing all went down. See that? It all went the same way. All the black went down. That is no good. And what happened? Now it was left with Abba to find out what went wrong. The Abba took the magic stick and went straight into my nephew's pocket and said that he has some money there in for him. That's how powerful this Bokoloko was. Now, I don't know whether because of the fact that the Bokoloko knew that my nephew was about to take his money or her money, that's why he did that, or he was just so powerful. But he did see a lot of things. So this is a process of the Bokoloko. Now, the Bokoloko can also be a protective deity because it can be, you can use any parts of this to name a child and let this particular instrument, Azure, to protect a child, Basanyaka, to protect a child, Kuga, to protect a child. So these are the names. Akoloko is a child named after the prophetic deity, the whole thing, Bokoloko. So we hear a child called Akoloko. It's supposed to be called Abakoloko. But we shorten it and just call the child Akoloko. So Akoloko is a child named after the prophetic deity. Arongo is the horn. A child named after the horn. This. So when you see or you hear a person called Arongo, that child is named after this portion of the Bokoloko. Arongo. Azure is also named after this. Azure is a child named after the tail or flail of the Bokoloko.